The following footage was uploaded to YouTube by Sax Urban in April of 2026. In the video, 4 urban explorers entered one of the oldest abandoned theaters in Garston, Liverpool. To get inside, the group slipped through a side door. At first, they were shocked that the door had even opened. They had managed to step inside a decaying piece of the city's history, a forgotten theater left to rot, behind boarded windows and locked entrances. But the excitement came with a serious risk. The theater was located in an area with a rough reputation, and exploring an abandoned building there at night was already dangerous, especially once they were inside, surrounded by darkness with no easy way back out. As they moved through the old theater, the group could hear voices outside. They also heard people moving around the building. At first, they assumed it was just people passing by on the street, but then the voices came closer, and moments later, they realized someone was standing outside the same door they had used to get in. Then, they heard something being placed against it.
The original prices are still on the wall. Boys. We just got boarded in.
Did we just get boarded in?
Oi boys, don't worry, there's another fire exit. Yeah.
What the f going on?
We just got boarded in.
Boys, there's another fire exit, don't worry, literally there.
We need to go down. We need to go down.
No.
Wait, hold on boys.
Just, wow, look at this place. Was it this door?
Yes, it is this door.
Yeah, they locked us in.
This is funny.
What is going on?
This is extra content. Yeah, basically.
We'll find a way out, don't worry. Do you know what, like, tell them to stop. Well, we probably won't be able to hear us, it's too late now, because we've done it. Hello?
They seem to be going around the building right now. You know, trying to scare us with the drill. I bet they're just scaring us.
At first, the group tried to laugh it off. They thought it might be a prank. Maybe a few locals had seen them enter and decided to scare them by blocking the door. One of the explorers insisted there had to be another fire exit somewhere inside the theater, so instead of panicking, they started searching for another way out. But the more they searched, the worse things became. One exit had already been nailed shut. Another door appeared to be blocked from the outside, and at one point, they could hear someone using tools near the building, as if they were trying to seal the explorers inside on purpose. Even then, the group still tried to stay calm. They told themselves they would eventually find a way out, but then someone outside started slamming against a basement door, and moments later, the situation turned from frightening to genuinely dangerous.
Archie. Let's go. Let's go find him.
Okay, they already count. They already count.
If he needs help.
Hello?
He's chipping fire exit, trying to open it, almost hit me in the...
What did he do?
I tried opening the fire exit in the basement that could be opened.
Yeah.
And I bang, booted it back in my face.
So he's basically trying to kidnap you.
Yeah.
Well,
That fire exit can be opened in the basement, so if they do board us in there, that's fine.
Do we actually have to call anyone?
no, but I mean, let's film our videos, and then...
I've
if
got
they're
fire
still-
exit open in the basement, I believe.
I do want to go back to the main floor.
Yeah, same. Such a good explorer before we got rudely interrupted.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before.
Windows!
Oh,
They just threw a brick for a window and nearly hit me in the face.
You good?
Am I bleeding anywhere? They just threw a brick for a window at me. No, I'm fine. Glasses went straight over my head.
You okay?
Yeah, it didn't hit me.
yeah, now we actually have to call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bro, we called police on them, that's attempted assault.
Yeah, call the police.
Yeah. Hello? Police? Hello, so there's these 2 known individuals who have purposely locked us inside and throwing bricks at the windows to harm us.
Okay, let me get this all down. Do you know where this building is? What room?
I got all of it on
I'm
video.
still lingering outside.
Yes. Oh, yes, they are.
That was the moment the group finally realized this was not just a joke. Someone outside had not only blocked their exit, but had also thrown a brick through the window, nearly hitting one of the explorers in the face. At that point, they had no choice. They called the police. Even though they knew they were not supposed to be inside the building, the situation had become too dangerous to handle on their own. They explained that unknown individuals had trapped them inside the theater and were now throwing objects through the windows. The officers told them to stay where they were and wait for help to arrive. Before long, police units reached the building, but by then, whoever had been outside had already vanished into the night. And when the officers entered the theater, the explorers quickly learned that being rescued did not mean they were out of trouble.
It's Sax. The police are here. They're on our side.
Stay where you are and do not move.
Not moving.
Come back to my light now. Do it now.
Who are you?
Officer with a taser, come
Okay.
back to my light now.
Coming.
We are calling for dogs, so you either come to me now or I send a dog in.
We're the guys who called you.
Yeah, so come here and talk to me. What's going on? Why are you in here?
We're urban explorers. We were just exploring the building.
Right. Do you have access to here?
The door was just open.
Right. You shouldn't be in here.
We know.
It's a massive danger. You all need to come to here because I've got dogs on the way. Because at this moment in time, we need to establish who you are. How many of you are in there?
There's four of us.
There's 4 of you. I want to
Yes,
see
sir.
4 of you here now.
How you doing, Constable?
Mate, put the camera down.
I have the right to film for my safety. After being locked in here, I'm going to film. I can't take any other chances.
Blow her out.
Well, whose fault is it to get in here in the first place?
Well, we didn't expect them to do that.
They knew we were in it, and they locked us in.
And they threw a brick through the window and almost hit me in the face.
So you've got no right to be in here?
We're aware.
Yeah, so it's your fault.
It's
Sam.
Yeah, but
it's
we,
not our
We
fault.
weren't expecting them to do that.
If they asked us to leave, we would have left.
I wouldn't have gone outside with them, to be fair. I don't really trust it after a brick came through the window.
Yeah, I get that.
We're still here. We're still here.
Still here.
Hands up.
Yeah.
Here, Oscar.
Yeah. Up here.
Right, where are you?
Yeah.
Right.
Do I come with you or?
Have we got cameras on?
Yes, sir.
Right. Just so I know, is it just you 4 in here?
Yeah,
Yes.
just
Right. Do us a favour, turn that off while we're dealing with it because we're currently dealing with it.
Following the officers' instructions, the explorers eventually switched their cameras off while police secured the building. But according to the group, the situation became tense very quickly. The officers were clearly frustrated that the explorers had entered the theater illegally, and from their perspective, that frustration was understandable. The building was dangerous, the area was unsafe, and now police had been forced to enter an abandoned structure at night without knowing who else might be inside. Still, for the explorers, the night had already become terrifying. They had been trapped inside by strangers, nearly hit by a brick, and now they were being questioned by officers who were treating them as part of the problem. One of the explorers were reportedly pulled aside for questioning, and his bag was searched, with his belongings dumped out onto the floor. In the end, the group was given a choice: leave the city immediately or spend the rest of the night in a cell. So they gathered what they could and headed straight for the bus out of town.
Oh, I didn't know there was an entrance.
Right, lads, we'll get you on your way. Who's the one who's driving? You're driving,
We need
yeah?
to get the bus back to where we are.
So you're getting the bus back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sound.
there I think it is, isn't it?
It's on the opposite side, I think. I think that.
No, we're up this one here up the stairs.
Oh, oh my
days.
god.
They did proper nice.
We would have not been getting out of that.
Yeah, we would have not done that. Alright, I'll just take some shots outside.
Once they finally walked away from the theater, the group caught a bus and left the city. Only then did they have a moment to process how quickly everything had fallen apart. What began as a simple exploration of an old abandoned theater had turned into one of the worst experiences yet. They had entered a building that they were not supposed to be in. Then strangers outside found them, blocked their exit, and threw a brick through the window. After that, they had to call the police from inside the same abandoned building they had illegally entered. In the end, the explorers were not arrested. They were not seriously injured, and somehow, despite being sealed inside, threatened from outside, and confronted by the police, they still managed to walk away in one piece. But that night left them with a brutal reminder. When you step inside an abandoned building, the danger is not always waiting in the dark. Sometimes it's waiting outside the door, with a board, a drill, and no intention of letting you leave. In January of 2020, a YouTuber named James uploaded a video titled "Scared for My Life While Exploring an Abandoned Property" to his channel, The Fam. James is a well-known urban explorer who brings a unique perspective to his videos. He is legally blind and uses specialized camera lenses to help him explore and document the places he visits. In this particular video, James decided to investigate an abandoned factory located in Richmond, Virginia. According to James, the building sat in a rougher part of the city, in an area that became known for crime, homelessness, and unsafe activity. The factory itself had also become a major concern, with signs that people may have been using the abandoned property for shelter. But despite the risk, James decided to go inside and explore the building for himself. Almost immediately after entering, he came across piles of trash, scattered belongings, and signs that someone had been spending time there recently. At first, James didn't hear or see anyone nearby, and for a moment, it seemed like he might be alone. So he continued deeper into the factory, but the further he went, the clearer it became that people weren't just passing through this building. Someone was living there.
Across anybody. Wow. How much would it cost for you guys to sleep here for the night on one of these beds? There's another phone, rolling papers, and a watch. Damn, guys, that's crazy. Alright, let's keep going. I'm gonna leave a few bucks here. I brought some money to leave. Alright. Alright, guys. I wouldn't want to fall down there, guys. That's crazy. Okay. My, thing that freaks me out, guys, is what if I go around the corner and, there's just a person standing there looking at me? Because that would really freak me out. This is so scary. Holy crap. And obviously somebody's here. Their phone is there. Their keys. Everything is right there.
The discovery clearly unsettled James. The phone, the keys, the personal items, all of it suggested that whoever had been staying there might return at any moment. But James also seemed sympathetic toward the person's situation. Before moving on, he decided to leave behind some money, likely hoping it might help whoever had been using the space. Still, he understood the danger. If someone came back and found him standing near their belongings, this could turn bad very quickly. So James left that area and continued exploring another section of the factory. But only a short time later, the situation began to change.
There's somebody out there. They're coming in here. Okay, I hear voices coming from that way. Maybe it's outside, maybe it's inside, I don't know. But we're not gonna wait and find out. This is one of my more scarier explorers, guys. I definitely have to. Guys, we're gonna keep on going. I hear people up there. I guess there's a second floor or second story. I definitely. Oh, this is crazy. What? Do you hear that? There's a bunch of people up there. Where am I headed right here? This is so freaking sketchy. I don't know of a video I've ever been this freaked out, especially the fact that I'm alone and I have no protection. Oh, guys. And my shoes still soaking wet. And I definitely want to stay away from those homeless people.
After hearing voices and loud sounds somewhere inside the building, James immediately moved in the opposite direction. He didn't want to run out just yet, but he also knew better than to walk toward whoever was making the noise. For the next several minutes, he tried to keep his distance, carefully moving through the factory while listening for any sign that someone was getting closer. Every so often, he could still hear faint voices and movement somewhere in the building, but from where he was standing, it seemed like he had managed to avoid them, at least for the moment. Then, while moving through one of the rooms, James noticed something above him.
Whoa, what is this? There's like rooms over here too? Oh crap, guys. Maybe this is where they're at. It's definitely a nice breeze right here. What the is in there? Oh, is that a hole? I don't know if that's a building or a wall. Oh, maybe, wait. Is that somebody up there? Is that somebody up there? No, yeah, it is somebody up there. Whoa. Alright, I don't want them to see me. That looks spooky right there, guys.
James had spotted someone on the roof. He couldn't tell who the person was, or whether they had already seen him, but given everything he had found inside the factory, James decided not to take any chances. He quietly backed away, doing everything he could to stay hidden. At that point, he knew there were people somewhere in the building. He had already found personal belongings, heard voices, and now he had seen someone watching from above. So instead of pushing further into that section, James turned around and made his way towards another part of the factory. But as he moved into a different area, he came face to face with the very thing he had been afraid of since the beginning. Someone was waiting inside.
Oh, what's back here? Dude, this place is freaky. Gotta watch my step back here for sure. Oh! What? Yo, bro, come on. Yo, I'm good, dude. You alright? I'm just making a video, dude. Bro, you need anything? You okay? Alright, I got you, man. Alright, man. Alright, bro. Alright. I'm just making a video, bro. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be in your place. Give me a freaking heart attack. I wish you could feel my heart right now. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew something like that was gonna happen here. Where am I up here? I don't want to go back down that way. Oh, no. What the guys? That scared the living crap out of me because I had no idea there was anybody there. That about gave me a heart attack, fam. I mean, what would possess that guy to charge me like that? Like, how does he know I don't have a weapon or something? Oh, God, that came out of nowhere. My heart is still beating so fast, guys.
Without warning, a man suddenly rushed out of one of the rooms and lunged towards James. Startled and terrified, James turned and ran, but in the panic, he made a dangerous mistake. Instead of running straight out of the factory, James ran upstairs. Now the same person who had just charged at him was somewhere below, and James had trapped himself deeper inside the building with no clear way out. Realizing what had happened, he began searching for another exit. For several minutes, James moved from room to room, trying to find a way down that would not lead back toward the man. But the upper floor was unsafe. The wood beneath him looked unstable, and parts of the building were badly deteriorated. Below him, the man could still be heard shouting and moving around. James was now stuck between two dangers, the person downstairs and the building itself. Eventually, after searching the area and finding no safer route, James realized he had only one option. He would have to go back the same way he came.
I don't even know where to go. I don't know if we can go anywhere else. I don't know if there's another way down. I might have to go that way. Dude, what the hell? I don't trust this floor. This place is not good for me, guys, honestly. And that homeless person and the fact that this floor, this is wood. I don't know, there might be a way out over there, but I really don't want to walk on this wood. I'll stick to the concrete for now. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. This is stupid. I gotta get out of here, guys. I don't know if he's down there. Yo, if you're down here, I'm friendly. Hey, hey, bro. Come on, man. I told you, I'm just filming, bro. Hey, stay back there, dude. Yo, hey, don't worry about what you're saying, dude. Just keep yourself back there. All right, okay. 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 All right, we out here. Yeah, all right, man.
Fortunately, James managed to make it back down and escape through the same exit. The man did not appear to attack him again, but the encounter had clearly shaken him. Once he was outside, James left the factory completely and made it home unharmed. To this day, it remains unclear who the man was or why he reacted so aggressively. Based on the belongings found inside the building, it seems likely that he may have been living there, or at least using that section of the factory as shelter. And from his reaction, he may have believed James was intruding into his space. But regardless of who the man was, the situation could have ended much worse. James was alone inside a decaying factory in an area he already believed was unsafe. He had limited visibility, no protection, and for a few frightening moments, no clear way out. In the end, he escaped without being harmed, but the encounter proved that sometimes the most terrifying thing inside an abandoned building isn't a ghost. It's the person you don't see until they're already running towards you. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing. Your support genuinely helps the channel grow. And the deeper we go, the more disturbing these encounters become. But for now, let's continue. The following footage was uploaded to the YouTube channel Alexandra Kiev in early 2021. In the video, two Ukrainian urban explorers, Sasha and her friend Sergey, entered an abandoned school somewhere in Ukraine. They arrived in the middle of a brutal winter. Outside, heavy snow covered the ground, and the temperatures had dropped to around 14 degrees below freezing. Because of the extreme cold, Sasha and Sergey immediately suspected that someone could be hiding inside the building for shelter. Sadly, this is not unusual in abandoned places, especially during winter, when people with nowhere else to go may use empty structures just to survive the night. As the two explorers moved through the dark hallways, they noticed a foul, heavy smell hanging in the air. Then, a short time later, they began to smell smoke. It was as if someone had started a fire somewhere inside the school. And as they continued deeper into the building, they discovered several rooms that no longer looked like classrooms at all. They looked lived in, cramped, dirty, and clearly being used by people trying to escape the cold. Then, somewhere in the building, they heard a noise.
Что это такое? Фу, это такой ужас. Блэ.
Здесь прачечная. Вещи сушатся у людей. Пойдем.
Что-то слишком дохрена ремней.
Здесь вообще дофига ремней, таблеток и...
Слушай, хотела чисто вот сюда просто спуститься. Думала,
Офигеть, конечно.
Тут ощущение безопасности ни в какой. Я просто примерно знаю, что такое оказаться с бомжами в одной заброшке. Или не с бомжами. Кстати, как тебе тут чувак? Он был похож на бомжа? Вообще, на самом деле, немного есть, но...
Похож, но я не...
Блядь.
Абсолютно, что это.
Хуй его знает.
Я не могу ничего говорить.
After hearing the sound, Sasha and Sergey quickly moved away from the hallway. They whispered to each other, trying to figure out where it had come from. At first, they thought someone might be on the same floor as them, or possibly hiding inside one of the nearby rooms. But they had no way of knowing how many people were there, and they had no way of knowing whether those people were harmless, frightened, angry, or dangerous. Trying not to panic, they moved toward the stairwell, hoping to get a better idea of where the sounds were coming from. But then the noise echoed through the building again. This time, it seemed closer, and now it felt as if whoever was inside had started moving with them.
О боже, фу, что тут за... вонь. Понятия не имею.
Слышала тоже, да?
Свет, 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 свет. Пошли, 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 пошли. Направо, 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 направо.
Идет на нас. Я вообще был уверен, что за нами пойдут сейчас, но...
Никого.
Никого.
Ну, на втором этаже мы не одни, 300%.
100%. И на первом...
Не надо меня пугать, сука. Я сама кого хочешь напугаю. О, есть, идет.
After hearing the sounds near the stairwell, Sasha and Sergei decided to head upward. They still did not know who was inside the building, but they wanted to avoid surprising anyone by accident. In situations like this, sudden fear can turn dangerous very quickly, so rather than sneak around in silence, they tried to make their presence known and move carefully. But as they climbed the stairs, they suddenly heard footsteps. Someone was coming toward them, and with every step, the sound grew louder.
Здрасте. Все окей? Да. У нас тоже. Мы вас не потревожим вообще никак. Не, отдыхайте просто, мы здесь по-своему.
When Sasha and Sergei finally came face to face with the source of the noises, they quickly realized the man was not a threat. He appeared to be someone sheltering inside the abandoned school to escape the freezing weather. As they spoke with him, they learned he was not the only person using the building. Others had taken refuge in different areas of the school, but none of them seemed hostile, and there was no sign that Sasha or Sergei were in immediate danger. So after the brief encounter, they continued exploring. Eventually, they found nothing else unusual and made it back out of the school safely. But a few months later, Sasha returned to that same abandoned school. This time, she went alone, and whatever had been happening inside the building had changed. Because on her second visit, the school no longer felt like a shelter. It felt like a warning.
Блядь. И что это? Тут просто дело в чем, тут очень много комнат, и не исключено, что в одной из комнат сейчас меня может кто-то ждать. Ну, по крайней мере, только так я выживу. Ёбаный пиздец. Сука. Ёбаный. Ебать, вот это нихуя уже не смешно. Ебать, я еще так никогда не орала. Но дело в том, что выход-то тут только один, и мне надо возвращаться назад туда, откуда я пришла. Но я думаю, если я это сделаю быстро, то, в принципе, меня никто не догонит.
By this time, Sasha realized the second visit was nothing like the first. The school no longer felt like a place where people were quietly hiding from the cold. It felt occupied, watched, hostile. Somewhere inside the dark building, loud bangs began echoing through the halls. Then came the sharp sound of glass breaking, followed by more violent crashing from somewhere deeper inside. Even without understanding every word Sasha was saying, her fear was obvious. Her breathing changed. Her movements became quicker. Every time the sound exploded through the building again, she seemed to freeze just for a moment, listening, trying to figure out whether someone was getting closer. The first time she explored the school, the people inside had been calm and harmless. But this time, whoever was inside seemed to be making noise deliberately, not hiding, not avoiding her, warning her. And as the banging grew louder, Sasha finally decided it was time to leave. But as she moved toward the exit, the sounds followed her through the building, almost as if someone was driving her out one hallway at a time.
Бежим. Сука, только куда? По-моему, сюда. Там есть люди, если что. Сука, ёбаный фонарь. Перестань светиться. Есть. Фух.
Even after Sasha made it outside, the noise continued from inside the abandoned school. The banging echoed through the cold night behind her, loud enough to make it feel like whoever was inside wanted her to hear it. They never came out. They never chased her across the grounds, but they did not need to. By that point, the message had already been delivered. Sasha had entered the school alone, expecting to better understand what she and Sergei had found months earlier. Instead, she found something far more aggressive, waiting in the dark. To this day, it remains unclear who was inside the building or why they reacted so violently to her presence. But Sasha believed that this was not the same harmless man she had encountered during her first visit. That first man seemed to be surviving. This person seemed to be guarding, and whether they were homeless, unstable, frightened, or simply furious that someone had entered their space, one thing was clear: they wanted Sasha gone, and they made the entire school say it for them. The following footage was uploaded in April of 2023 by a Latvian urban explorer to his YouTube channel, Forgotten Baltics. In the video, he entered an abandoned apartment complex located in the center of Riga, Latvia. From the moment he stepped inside, the building felt wrong. Most of the place had been heavily damaged. Rooms were ransacked, debris covered the floors, and there were clear signs that people had been coming and going long after the building was abandoned. But one apartment stood out from the rest. Unlike the surrounding rooms, this flat was strangely well preserved. Inside, the explorer found old furniture, shelves filled with books, an old television, glassware, and personal belongings that looked as if they had simply been left behind. It felt less like an empty apartment and more like a room frozen in time. But as he looked closer, the scene began to feel more disturbing. Broken glass lay across the floor, empty bottles were scattered around the room, and among the belongings, he found signs that something violent may have happened there.
Some beer, vodka, and whiskey. Oh, it's a glasses broken. And here is a glass. Well, probably drunk people had a fight here and someone got hurt. But where is the blood? It's very strange. One more beer.
At first, the scene did not necessarily prove anything sinister. The broken glass, empty bottles, and damage could have been caused by trespassers who entered the apartment long after it had been abandoned. It was possible people had simply been using the space to drink, hang out, or take shelter. Still, there was something unsettling about the contrast. Most of the building looked stripped and destroyed, but this apartment still held traces of the person who once lived there. And now, those traces were mixed with broken glass, scattered alcohol bottles, and signs of recent activity. The explorer continued through the building, eventually making his way down toward the lower level. There, near what appeared to be an old bomb shelter door, he found something far more disturbing than anything upstairs.
Well, it's a door, like in a bomb shelter. Let's check the downstairs. Oh, what? Well, I am not a doctor, but looks like human bones. What? These bones are too big for animals. This is also, I guess, a part of human's body. A broken one. What are they doing here? And here are the bones. I don't know really. Look here, a few more of them. It's very weird.
Lying on the basement floor were several bones. The explorer was careful to say that he was not a doctor, and he could not confirm what they were. But to him, they looked disturbingly similar to human remains. They were long, thick, and far too large to dismiss easily as the bones of a small animal. Whether they were truly human or not, the discovery completely changed the feeling of the building. Everything he had seen upstairs suddenly felt different. The broken glass, the abandoned belongings, the untouched apartment, the signs that people had been inside after the building was left behind. What had first seemed like decay and vandalism now felt like it might have been connected to something much darker. And then, as he looked around the basement, he noticed something else. There were holes in the floor, deep ones.
Look at these holes in the floor. They are quite deep. So somebody was searching something? Or why are they here? It's very strange. Maybe a dead body was found here. And here are the bones. I don't know really. Here is. I think if you fell in such hole, you can break a leg. So better I get out faster from here. Here is one more hole. Very strange house.
The holes made the basement feel more unsettling. They did not look like ordinary cracks or simple damage. They looked deliberate, as if someone had been digging into the floor. Standing there among the bones and open holes, the explorer began to wonder if something had once been buried there, or if someone had been searching for something hidden beneath the building. Of course, there was no way for him to know for sure. The bones could have come from somewhere else. The holes may have had another explanation, and the strange apartment upstairs may have had nothing to do with what he found below. But inside that basement, surrounded by possible remains and disturbed ground, those details became hard to ignore. The broken glass upstairs no longer felt harmless. The abandoned belongings no longer felt ordinary, and the building itself no longer felt like just another forgotten apartment complex. The explorer did not stay much longer. With deep holes in the floor, possible bones scattered nearby, and no clear answer for what he had just found, he decided it was better to leave. Whatever happened inside that building remains unknown, but the scene he captured left behind one chilling possibility, that beneath the abandoned rooms and forgotten belongings, something had been hidden in the dark, and someone may have already come back looking for it. In November of 2025, a YouTuber named Chris Hill uploaded a video titled "Crazy Encounter While Exploring an Abandoned Prison" to his channel Urbex Hill. Chris is an experienced urban explorer who has documented countless abandoned locations across the United States. But in this video, he decided to explore an abandoned prison located in Cleveland, Ohio. From the moment Chris stepped inside, he noticed something unusual. The prison did not feel fully dead. Unlike many abandoned buildings, several areas still appeared surprisingly intact. Some electronics seemed to have power, and certain parts of the prison looked almost operational. That detail immediately raised a concern. If the building still had power, then security systems could still be active. Cameras, motion detectors, alarms, anything like that could compromise the entire explorer and possibly alert someone that he was inside. So Chris moved carefully, avoiding areas that seemed more active and trying not to trigger anything. For a while, the exploration went smoothly. The prison was quiet, still, and deeply unsettling. But then, somewhere inside the building, Chris suddenly heard what sounded like power tools.
Looks like inmates were trying to break out. That's crazy. It legit looks like they were trying to break out. No inmates beyond this point. Wow, it's hard to believe this place is abandoned. It's really creepy just sitting in here alone like this.
After hearing the sound, Chris immediately hid inside a nearby room. He believed there were people somewhere inside the prison. At first, he thought they may be contractors, maintenance workers, or possibly scrappers moving through the building. Either way, he wanted no part of them. If they were workers, they could report him for trespassing. If there were scrappers, the situation could become dangerous for a completely different reason. So Chris stayed hidden. For nearly an hour, he remained inside that room, listening as the sounds echoed through the prison. Eventually, the noise stopped. Everything became quiet again, and Chris believed whoever had been inside had finally left. So he came out of hiding and continued exploring another section of the prison. For about 15 minutes, things seemed calm. Then, as he moved through one of the main hallways, he saw something that made his heart drop.
I think they left. I don't hear any noise. They must have been like contractors or something. It sounded like they were using power tools. You could see.
Chris had spotted police inside the building. The noises he heard earlier may have been workers sealing off parts of the prison, or they may have been connected to the building being secured after his presence was detected. Either way, Chris knew he had a serious problem. He ran. He slipped into another room and tried to stay hidden, hoping the officers would pass by without finding him. But the prison gave him almost nowhere to disappear. Concrete walls, long hallways, locked doors, and then he heard it, a dog barking. The sound echoed through the prison, sharp and unmistakable. A canine unit was inside, and it was getting closer. At that point, the explorer turned into a full escape attempt. Chris began running through the prison, desperately searching for any way out, but every route seemed to fail him. Doors were locked, Passageways led nowhere, and the building that had seemed so open only minutes earlier now felt like a maze closing around him. At one point, Chris tried to return to the same door he had originally used to enter, but by then, the exit had been sealed. The way in was no longer a way out. Behind him, the barking continued. The dog was somewhere in the building, and although Chris could not see it, he could hear it moving closer. The footage becomes frantic from this point on. There is very little dialogue, just footsteps, heavy breathing, doors being checked, and the sound of a man trying not to get caught inside an abandoned prison. After trying door after door, Chris finally found one that opened. He bolted through it and escaped the prison. But the chase did not end there. As soon as he made it outside, police spotted him. Then came the sirens. Chris ran into the woods surrounding the prison, trying to put as much distance as possible between himself and the officers behind him. The last few minutes of the footage are intense. The camera shakes violently as Chris pushes through the darkness. His breathing becomes heavier. Branches snap beneath him. The sirens cut through the trees. And somewhere behind him, the dogs can still be heard. He never captures them clearly on camera, but their presence is impossible to miss. For several minutes, Chris keeps running through the wooded area, trying to outpace both the officers and the canine unit. Somehow, despite the odds, he manages to escape. In the end, Chris was not arrested. He was not caught by the dogs, and he made it out without being injured. But the situation could have ended very differently. He had entered a prison that was far more active than he realized, possibly still monitored, possibly being secured, and filled with exits that could have been locked or sealed without warning. Once the police and canine unit entered the building, Chris found himself trapped inside the very kind of place that was designed to keep people from escaping. And for a few terrifying minutes, that abandoned prison became exactly what it used to be, a place built to hold someone in.
And that wraps up this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so we can keep bringing you more creepy, bizarre, and haunting tales. Check out the links below to dive deeper. And if you have your own creepy encounter, tell us in the comments. We might feature it in a future video. Until next time, sleep tight.